Alright guys, welcome back to IG8Live Esports. Once again, here we are with SLIPSTREAM Racing League Sunday Division, and this time it is for round 8 of the current season that we got going on, and it is going to be for the French Grand Prix. Getting started with our full qualifying session here right about now. I think we got just a few cars starting to get out on track here just to get things warmed up a bit and just get started with their out laps, and see what the track is looking like in terms of grip out there, and we'll start to see some lap times coming here pretty soon. So in the meanwhile, we're just gonna see what's going on. We do have a full grid of 20 drivers on for this, so it should be a bit interesting through the session to see how that works out as well. Always good to see a full grid on, especially for a race like this one here. So we'll see what's going to be the case for that, and in the meanwhile, I think we can have a look at a few things that we've missed since the past few races that we've been on. So I think we're just gonna switch that. In the meanwhile, I think we got these guys getting out on their out laps. They'll get started on the hot laps pretty soon. So let me see if I can bring up a few things here for us, and let's have a look at the constructor standings so far. So we did miss at least the past 3 weeks here with SLIPSTREAM Racing League. So a few things have changed possibly, but let's have a look. I'm now having a look myself on that and see what's going on in that case. Cody might be the first car to get a lap in, but either way, let's have a look at the constructor standing so far. Looks like Mercedes is leading that with 109 points. We got AlphaTauri currently second on the standings with 87 points, so they do have a bit of a lead ahead there. And then we got Ferrari down in third, 78 points, not too far off behind, but it does need to do some catching up there. Williams currently fourth, 73 points, and we got some closer gaps as we get on down the order here. Haas currently fifth. It's a bit surprising there, 72 points, just a 1 point behind the Williams team so far. So they're looking pretty good so far. We'll see how that works out. Alpine currently 7th, and just behind McLaren currently who is 6th in 45 points. Alpine currently over with 39 points, so really not too far behind. As we said, closer games as we get further down the order. Alfa Romeo currently 8th, 30 points, and Red Bull in 9th with 19. Didn't expect that too much there. We do have Aston Martin down in 10th though with only 18 points, just 1 point behind the Red Bull team, so they do have a chance to possibly change that here this evening. So we'll see how that works out for them at the moment here. So still waiting for Cody to get a lap, and I think he's about to finish off this lap here right about now and get at least 1 lap time. So that's the constructor so far in terms of what it looks like there. So we got Mercedes leading, we got AlphaTauri currently second, Ferrari currently as our top 3. We'll see what's going to change at the end of this session here. We got Cody currently taking the first lap time in the session at 129.8. Let's see how well that's going to hold up against the rest of the drivers who are going to be getting lap times getting here pretty soon. So I want to see what that's going to be like. Welcome to everyone currently joining on the stream. Welcome to Nick there, getting on as soon as we got started. Welcome to Beefy and Holly there, getting on the stream as well. Good to have everybody on. Please guys, do not forget to leave a like on the stream here on YouTube, and I think this is going to be mainly where we might be streaming for the next few weeks. I think the stream is currently on multi-stream as well, but might be changing that within the next few weeks. But at the moment, I think you guys know where we usually live either way. Let's have a look, see what's happening on track. Who else got a time? So Red Devil got a time at 130.0, goes second with that. Neil there in the Mercedes goes 130.5 so far. Let's see how that's gonna work out as we get around with this here. We do have a few new drivers I'm noticing on the grid there as well. We'll get through that as we get through the session itself. Looks like Chris might have invalidated that lap there, which is a bit easy to do here at the Power Kart circuit. So they're gonna have to be a bit careful with that and see how they get on through. We got L2 Albo here. Let's see what's going on with that in the Williams. Trying to get a lap in, currently getting through sector 3 as well. So let's see how that works out as we get on through that sector of the track. Gonna be adding something a bit different hopefully by next week Sunday to the stream. Hopefully you guys gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be mostly at the start of the stream, so do get on early as we get the stream started, but all of that will be shown as we're ready to go live in terms of joining onto the session live stream itself, not on the starting page. So we'll see if we'll be able to change that as we get on through to next week. Gonna take some time to get it set up as well, but let's see what's gonna happen. Albo about to get across the line. Let's see where puts that car, and goes second fastest on the grid so far. It's a 129.3. will hold up pretty well, but still might want to try to improve that time, because I fear as the session goes further in, with the time going down, we might start to see some faster lap times in here. Let's see how that is going to work out, of course, as you know, drivers are going to be getting out here think we got a few more drivers currently on their outlaps. Walker seem to be on one. We got Alien there on a lap as well, just on the outlap. So let's see what the hot laps are gonna look like when we do actually get started on it. And I think we do have currently two drivers. That's going to be Vintage and Chris currently on laps. So let's see what that works out for them. Hopefully getting a good lap in. But we'll see what the situation is going to be at this point here. But a bit interesting so far, we still have quite a few drivers who have not gotten out of the pit lane as yet in terms of trying to get a lap going here at France. So let's see what that's going to work out to be. But I think they're going to they have enough time. It's 18 minutes total for the qualifying one session. So they do have enough time still to get out on track, get a lap in. So we'll see what that's going to be like. We're on with Walker right about now as he gets his lap through. Getting through sector 1 there at the moment, so let's see how well that's actually going to go for him. If he's going to have any purple sectors or not, I'm not quite sure as yet, but waiting to see what that is going to be like as he gets on through this lap here. Alright, so far so good on this current lap. We got quite a few lap times in, we'll go through them in just a second. But so far, he is looking pretty good on this current lap here. I don't see any invalidated laps so far with him. But let's see what happens as he gets on through the rest of the lap. I think this is a final turn to get around and then get across the start-finish straight. Let's see how that works out. Looks like he's going to finish this lap pretty well because across all the turns already. And gets a 132.0. Not the best of lap there for Walker at the moment. So let's see where the rest of the lap, rest of the session actually takes him through. Does have to make the top 15 in terms of getting through here right about now. I think we're on with Maddie here at the moment. Let's see where he goes by the end of this hot lap. He's currently on in the McLaren there. Usually gets some pretty good lap times in. Let's see where he's going to be at the end of this. But so far looking quite well. Currently Alien fastest in the session though, 128.0. Did miss his lap in the Haas there. His teammate Robbie currently second on the grid with a 128.3. Albo down to third at 129.3. We got Dixie there in fourth, 129.6. Just a few tenths off each other so far. Cody down to fifth, 129.8. Red Devil in sixth, 130.0. That's where we start 130s. Sui in seventh, 130.2. Neil currently 8, 130.5. Vintage in ninth with a 130.6. And then Walker 10 to the 132.0. That's our top 10 so far as it stands, with the next 10 drivers still yet to get some lap times in. So we're waiting to see what that's going to be like. Maddie here has invalidated his lap, unfortunately. So let's switch on a bit over here. Have a look, I think, at Extremist in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see what his lap currently is looking like. I think we're starting to get some more lap times again. I think Scooby got a time of 132.1. Gonna hold off for now. Let's see how well it does actually hold off through. Mr. Rage up into second now, 128.314. Goes at least 2/600 of a second faster than what Robbie did. So pretty impressive lap from him. Let's have a look on board with Extremist here as he finishes off this lap. Did not invalidate, which is a good sign at this point here as he gets across the line. And let's see where he does put that car. Goes 6th fastest so far, 129.3. Slots himself in somewhere in the midfield on top of the grid there. Not too bad so far. Waiting for a few more drivers to get some lap times in here. And I think I'll switch on over to Clock down in the other Mercedes here. His teammate Neil, of course, currently 11th on the grid. Let's see how that's going to work out. We will have a look at the driver standings in just a bit, maybe at the start of Q2. Possibly we'll have a quick look at that and see where we are so far. We still got just under 7 minutes remaining here in qualifying 1 to get on through this session, then head over to qualifying 2. Going to be 15 minutes for that session, then qualifying 3, another 12 minutes. Then we do get into the race session. This is fastest lap so far. Here goes to lap 127.9, the only 127 on the grid so far as well. So pretty impressive lap so far. Of course, Alien not too far off from that. It's only off by a tenth so far that we can see there. So still a pretty close gap between him and Alien there. So for that position, they're getting over. But of course, point of qualifying 1 is to just make a good enough lap time to put yourself over into qualifying 2. I think that's where we start to get just a bit more serious in terms of keeping a good lap time, and then depending on what tires we're using as well. As we get on through to that session, we'll talk a bit more about it as we always do, getting into qualifying 2 and qualifying 3, what's the purpose of those sessions as well. But always fun to have a full qualifying session here, and always has been the case with SLIPSTREAM Racing, getting through their race sessions, and always good to have a full grid of drivers as well to put that through. So let's see how these drivers manage as we get on through the rest of this session here. Once again, welcome to everyone joining us live on the stream here, especially on YouTube or Twitch. Please guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and make sure to leave a like on the video. Do appreciate you guys doing that. It does help us out quite a lot when you guys do. So hopefully everyone enjoys the session. Let's see what the rest of qualifying holds for us as we get on through. Got just 2 drivers remaining to get lap times in at the moment here. We're going to switch that over. We got Draft and Beefy yet to get out on track here. Hasn't put a lap time in as yet. We'll get back to possibly with Neil here. He's currently on a lap, I think. Maddie gets time at 129.920. Might be trying for another lap. No, he is not right about now. So let's switch that back over to Neil in the Mercedes. Trying to get a better lap as his teammate did. Got fastest lap in the session. Wants to get at least somewhere maybe into the top 10 would be a safe zone to be at this point here. I think we got Alien on an outlap out in front. Haven't taken a lap on board with him so far this season since he started with the league. We've been now for the past 3 races. So let's have a look and see what's going on. Does seem to be a pretty fast guy around these circuits here, especially on the F1 calendar. So let's see what that works out to be for him. So far it looks pretty good with that lap time there. Currently 128.0 that he has, just behind Glock there, who's currently with the fastest lap in the session. I think this might change possibly, but let's see how that works. So getting over to qualifying 3, which will be a bit more interesting between the 2 of them. I want to see where the lap times stand and how close we're actually going to be. It's still a pretty close gap from slowest lap to fastest lap here right about now. I think we're off by about anywhere between 3.5 to 5 seconds, possibly with the slowest time of Scooby there 132.1, which I think he might possibly improve. Let's see what's going to happen. Drafted Williams currently out on track on an outlap. Let's see what that's going to be like. On with Alien at the moment, OTL Alien here, and let's see where he goes by the end of this current lap. So far so good on this current lap. I don't think we'll notice any purple sectors though, which is a bit interesting. So I want to see if that's going to happen before we do get to the end of the qualifying session. Got just about 3 minutes or so left here to go for qualifying 1, so we are getting down to the end of the session, and we do have Beefy and Draft still yet to get a lap time in. And looks like he's going to get back into the pits. Not a very good lap he was currently on. Let's get him back to someone that's currently running a lap. Actually, I think I'll switch it down to Draft in the Williams down in the back of the grid here. Still trying to get his lap time in. He's now getting out on track along with Beefy, who's currently still on his out lap. So let's see how that works out for the 2 of them. Alright guys, I think Beefy finally on a lap there as well with just a minute and a half to go, so they do have just one chance to get a lap time in here to hopefully make it over to qualifying 2 at this point. Otherwise they will be starting down at the back of the grid. Not sure if that's what the intention here is at a point, but some of these guys do tend to get out pretty late in the qualifying 1 session to get out on track and possibly get a lap time in. We got Drop getting across the line here right now. Let's see where he goes on the grid. And does he get a time? He does get a time, but it's a 136.5. That's not going to do too well, as it's one of the slowest time on track here at the moment. We're on my Beefy right about now as he finishes off sector 3. Let's see where he goes by the end of this current lap. I think most of our drivers are finished off with the session or already back into the pits, so I don't think too much is happening at the end of this current qualifying session here. We will of course see a bit more happening down at the end of qualifying 2 and qualifying 3. Most of our drivers of course will be retiring off the session just to we're on for qualifying 2, which is going to be a bit more important for them. Beefy does go 7th fastest on the grid at 129.2. We got less than 30 seconds remaining here right about now, with a few drivers currently running on track, still trying to get a time in. Looks like Albo might have invalidated whatever time he was trying to get in. Same here for Maddie as well. Where is Chris on track? He's still running a lap along with Drop there. Let's see where these two go. If they do improve their time, they're currently in a drop zone of getting knocked out of qualifying 2 at this point here. Do need to get a better lap in before before the end of this lap. Actually, they have to get a lap in because qualifying is officially over here for Q1. We're about to head over into qualifying 2, just waiting on drivers to finish off this session, and then we should be able to head on over. Let's see what that's going to work out between Chris and Drop. Will they be able to make it on over? Walker, I think as well, possibly trying to get a lap in. And yep, he is running a lap. Let's see what that's going to work for him. We're still on with Chris. He gets across the line, does not improve his time, and I think that might be him. Oh, he does improve just a bit. He goes up into 15th at 130.2, but if Walker does improve his time, that's going to push Chris down the order and out of the top 15, and will be out of qualifying 2 there as well. We'll be starting down in the back of the grid. Let's see what's going to happen in that case. We're on with Walker here, finishing off his final attempt at getting a lap in here. Might be the only one left driving on track here as well. So as soon as he gets across the line, we will be able to move over into qualifying 2. Let's see what the results are going to be like. Let's see on board for just a bit with Walker as he gets across for this. And looks like he's going to finish this off by driving straight into the pit entrance barrier there. Doesn't want to finish that half off, so that's going to be it for him. And there we go. So that's the end of the session. Didn't get to make a better time in. He's going to be out of the session possibly there. So fastest lap here in qualifying 1 goes the clock there. Had Alien was second fastest at 128.0. Pretty impressive lap there from the Mercedes driver though. Mr. H currently was 3rd. Robbie 4th. Mikey in 5th. Nick there 6th. We got Beefy in 7th. We got Albo 8th. Extremist currently 9th. We got Dixie in 10th. We got Neil there in 11th. Cody in 12th. Maddie 13, Red Devil 14, Chris there in 15. That's our top 15 going over to qualifying 2. Looks like Stubby will start 16, Vintage in 17, Walker 18, Scooby 19, and Drop there. Unfortunately, we'll have to start in 20th on the grid. For the race session itself, they're going to be out at the rest of the qualifying. So we're heading straight over to qualifying 2. And yeah, let's have a look and see how things are going to shape up over in that session there. And I think in the meanwhile that everything is getting on to, we can have a look at the driver standings in the time being. Let's have a quick look and see. Let me just get up on my side. So far as it is, looks like Glock is leading the Drivers' Championship, 102 points, and quite a bit of a lead as well against Robbie currently in 2nd, who is only with 73 points. So they do have some catching up to do to the Mercedes driver. Let's see how that works out for them as they get through the rest of this session itself. I want to see what's going to happen in that case. Let's get tires on. Let's leave it on for now, see what these guys are going to do. So Drop currently 3rd fastest there, or 3rd on the driver standing, 66 points, not too far behind with Robbie with 73 points there. Beefy in 4th, 54 points. We got Mikey currently 5th, 45 points. Walker in 6th, 33 points. Vintage currently 7th with 33 points as well. So those two are going to have an interesting run in that race today. We got Tyler currently in 8th with 31 points, and then Paige here currently 9, 23 points. I think the two they're not racing today. Nick there 10th, 22 points. Mr. Rage they're currently 19 points. He has in 11th, Extremist in 12th with 16 points, Red Devil 13th with 14 points. We got Chris currently 14th in the order with 12 points. Neil currently 15th with 8 points, along with Scooby. They're 16 behind of him with 8 points. We got X's there in 17th with 8 points as well. Cody in 18th with 6 points. And I think that's it in terms of points for drivers as well. Now, might seem a bit strange off with so many drivers having points off in the session. But remember, we do have full-time drivers in the league. We do have reserve drivers in the league there as well. And yeah, so that's what happens in terms of that sometimes there, because we do have reserve drivers filling in when the full-time drivers are not available on some race sessions. So here we are in qualifying 2. We got 13 out of 15 cars out on track, all are at the moment here. So I think we got all 15 currently on track, so a bit of a busy track. 15 drivers all out at the session, and everyone trying to get an out lap in, trying to get their hot laps in as soon as they can. We got a mix of strategies going on as well between the mediums and the soft tires at the moment here, as we can see. Let's see what they're going to choose to start this race on. I think it's a 27 lap race or a 26 lap race, somewhere right around that range there. So we might be looking at a possible one-stop strategy here, going a bit aggressive in this race, or possibly just a two-stop strategy, hoping on for a safety car to pull off one of those pit stops. They're going to have to see what set of tires they want to start the race on, whether it's going to be a set of softs or a set of mediums. And of course, whatever set of tires they do their fastest laps on here in Q2, they will have to start the race, provided of course that they make it over to qualifying 3, and it is going to be a dry race start, always the case here with F1 esports races. So let's see if that's going to be the case or not. Just getting through this session, waiting for these guys to get some laps in. I think we're on with OTL Dixie at the moment in the Alpine. So let's see what his lap is going to look like. We've been on with him since the start of the session. See what the lap is going to look like as he gets on through. He has quite a bit of drivers behind of him coming on through as well. Let's see what the situation is going to be in this case here right about now. So we're looking forward to quite a few lap times getting in here, one after the other, as these guys will be getting across the line. I'm not even sure who's going to be getting across the line first. Was looking a bit at the standings for that. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen as we get through this session. So waiting for some lap times to get on in here, which we should have in a few seconds time, because we got OTL Dixie getting through the final sector of the track here and about to get a time, and he's on a set of soft tires right about now. And looks like Alien gets a time in first at 128.6. We did have, I think, a 127 was the fastest in the previous session. Let's see what's going to happen. That was on a set of mediums there for Alien. Beefy goes second fastest, 130.0 on a set of mediums. Dixie goes second fastest now, pushes Beefy down. He's 129.2. Extremist in the third at 129.5, and just moves down the order. Mr. Rage now goes into third, 129.4. Cody with a 129.5. Extremist 129.9. Beefy 130.0. Sorry, and we're changing quite a bit as everyone's going to get across. So let's see where is the rest of the drivers here. Ready to get across into sector 3. Still waiting on a few more drivers to get across the line, but looking quite interesting in the 129 so far, from what we're seeing on track there. And it's a mix between mediums and softs at the moment there, so quite a bit interesting as well. Welcome on, Walker, to the stream. Good to have you on. See what this session has in store for us here. Looking very interesting so far, mostly on the mediums from what we can see. Let's see if that's going to hold out through the end of the session though, because remember, some of these guys are going to be starting off with a lap on the mediums, then might switch it on to a lap on the soft tires just to possibly make it on over even into qualifying 3 if they have to. We'll see what the case is going to be. Maddie there goes 130.7 so far. Where are the rest of my drivers here? Nick here in the next McLaren getting through the session. See where he's going to be at in this current lap that he's currently on. Mikey and I think he's still trying to get through sector 1 there. Let's switch this back over here as the McLaren of Nick gets through sector 3. So far so good. Alien, of course, with the fastest lap in the session at 128.6. Clock goes second fastest though, 128.7. Only a 10th off. These two were a 10th off at the end of qualifying 1. Of course, with the other way around. We clocked their P1 and Alien Young in second, but then we'll see how that works out. Dixie currently still third, 129.2. Rage currently still fourth, 129.4. At 10th behind is Neil there in fifth. Cody just a few hundred of a second, 200 of a second there in 6th. Nick goes into 7th at 129.7. He's only 2/10 off the time. Extreme is there in 8th. And now down to 9th as Mikey takes over 8 with a 129.8, 129.9 there for Extreme is down to 9th with that. Beef is still now back into the pits at 130.0, Maddie 130.7, 7/10 off. We still got a few drivers on track trying to get some times in to see if that's going to work. Neil out of the session, unfortunately, at this point here. Waiting to see where Albo here in the Williams is going to go by the end of this current lap. Trying to do it on this set of soft tires here as well. Let's switch this on to best now. We got 8.5 minutes remaining here for qualifying 2. Then we get over to the one of the most interesting sessions that we're going to have is the qualifying 3 session. See what our starting grid is going to look like for the top 10. Currently Albo their fastest sector 1 time currently on this lap here. Let's see if he's able to carry that over to the next 2 sectors and hopefully get a really good lap in. He's currently on the set of softs, should be able to pull off a pretty good lap with that as we get on through. Something that changed a bit in the order there. I think Neil fell out of position possibly, I'm not sure. As it is, I think as I see Extremist is now up into P4, 129.406, just almost about 600 a second, I would say, ahead of Rage's time. So pretty impressive so far with what he has there, and waiting for Albo to get across the finish line here. Let's see where he gets in terms of a lap time, and it might be looking quite interesting. Let's see, it's going to be a 129.02 to go start fastest on the grid there so far. Looks like a pretty promising time in terms of keeping that and getting on over into qualifying 3 at this point. So let's see how that works out for him. Mr. Rage here in the Red Bull, I think he's trying for another lap possibly, or no, he just finished a lap there. But let's see, he's currently P4 on the grid. Doesn't look like he really improved this time, so let's get on down to our 3 drivers down at the bottom of the grid at the moment. Robbie, they're getting started on the lap here right now. And on the side of mediums as well, so let's see where this puts him, and looks like he gives up on this current lap here with a yellow flag situation in that sector of the track there as well. Might have actually stopped his lap, or I think he invalidated the lap there. I'm not 100% sure what happened to him exactly, because he just slowed down before it actually became an invalidated lap. On with Red Devil right now, getting through sector 1. Okay, so left with about 4.5 minutes here in qualifying 2. Looking pretty interesting so far in terms of what we're seeing happening. Looks like Alien and Clock both have done their fastest laps on the medium tires so far. Albo they're currently third on the softs. We got Mr. Rage on the mediums. We got Dixie on the softs. Extremists on the mediums so far in the top 6. Neil and Cody 7th and 8th on the softs as well. Nick and Mikey to close out the top 10 on the mediums. The rest of the drivers below that are on the mediums, so they might think about making a switch. And there goes the Smart having a bit of a spin. Possibly takes a bit of damage there as well. So let's see what happens with drivers down at the back of the grid there, because I want to see if they're going to try and get a lap in on a set of soft tires or not. We still got Red Devil trying to do this on a set of mediums right about now. Let's see what's going to happen in that case as he gets through this current lap. So far, so good for him. We got Robbie getting back out on track as well. I think he might be trying to get back out on a set of mediums, possibly. Let's have a quick look at that. Looks like Chris is out in the section of 146.2. And lap time's not going to hold out too well. Looks like Robbie is getting back out on a set of mediums as well. They want to try to start this race on the mediums, apparently. What it seems to be like so far. Mikey here trying this possibly on a set of softs, I believe. Yes, he is. So this is previous time on a set of mediums. Currently on 10th on the grid at 129.8. Of course, he knows that's not going to hold out too well going down to the end of this qualifying session. Wants to make it over into Q3 if he can here, but he needs to get on a set of soft tires to get a faster lap time in, even though it might compromise his strategy that he did want to start this race on, which is seeming to be most of the drivers were had an intention of starting this race on a set of soft tires. Sorry, on some medium tires, because most of them have qualified with the fastest laps on that. But let's see what the case is going to be. It might have been they wanted to do a one-stop strategy here, but they have to consider safety cars and VSCs in this race. What's going to happen? And starting on the sauce might just be to the advantage. We'll see what the case is going to be as you get around to that here. And what strategy will, of course, work best here for the French Grand Prix. Seems like it's going to be a dry session all the way through. We'll see if that stands when you get around to the race itself. Alright, so it looks like Mikey goes up to third fastest on the grid so far. I think Robbie down in the back. They're still trying to get a lap in. Looks like he invalidated that current lap that he has going there. So that is not going to work with 2 grid. We do have Beefy here currently, I think, on a lap. He's currently in the drop zone right now. And I'll be honest, it's starting to look a bit cloudy on track. It was very sunny out a few minutes ago. It's starting to get a bit darker around here, so we might be looking at some rain setting into qualifying 3. I'm not sure what's not updated on what the weather situation is going to be throughout this session. Not going to be too well in case we are going to be having some rain. We'll see what the case is going to be, as Beefy's not having much luck on this current lap here. He's getting through on that. Looks like Nick is not on a fast lap there as well, as these two go side by side with that. And Maddie about to get started on a lap here. See if he's able to finish off this lap or not. We got less than 40 seconds remaining here in the session before we do close out qualifying 2 and head over to qualifying 3. Let's see what our top 10 is gonna be. Looks like currently we got Beefy, Maddie there, Red Devil, Chris, and Robbie in the drop zone for that. Chris, of course, already out of the qualifying session. The rest of them do stand a chance of trying to get a lap in. As for Red Devil, they're still in the pit, so not going to be getting any lap time in here anytime soon. I think most of them are currently out. There goes Maddie there, messing up that lap. That's going to be it for him. Looks like Robbie here still trying to get a lap in. A purple sector 1 that he currently gets so far. Let's see what sector 2 and 3 are going to be like. I think Beefy and Nick are probably out of the session already, as it is there, because they take it up on their previous attempts at their lap there. That's qualifying 2 officially over on the bit of overtime, just finishing off with whoever currently is running a qualifying lap at the moment here, and that's where it's going to go straight over into qualifying 3. See what the starting order is going to be for the top 10. So far looking pretty good for the top 10 here, but of course Beefy already out of the session as well. I think Maddie here already out as well. Robbie here, the only driver who stands a chance of possibly knocking Nick down and out of qualifying 3 at this point. Let's see if that is going to be the case or not. Doesn't look like he got a purple sector 2 as far as I could see so far here. So waiting for sector 3 to come to an end here, and I think that's going to be it. I think that it just needs to retire from the session there as well. As Robbie gets across the line, where does this car go on that? Does he get a good time in? And does get a good time in. He goes into P5 for 129.0. Of course, that is some bad luck there for Nick, who's now out of qualifying 3 at this point. I think Cody just barely made it in, and yep, I think that's how it's going to work. So it looks like we're going to have Nick starting the race in P11. Beefy will have to start 12th. Maddie will start 13th. And Red Devil starting 14th. Chris starting 15th. As it is there right now. Looks like both McLarens out of Q3 here this evening. A bit unfortunate for that. Let's see how that works out though. So I think Maddie getting back into the pits. And then we should be able to head straight over into qualifying 3. Okay, so there we have it. Results there for Q2. We got Alien fastest driver in the session at 128.6. A 10th off of that is where Glock is in the Mercedes. Currently second fastest there, 128.7. And going to be interesting between those two getting into the race. We'll see how that works out. Mikey there currently third fastest on the grid in Q2 session. On the soft, he did 128.7. Albo there 4th, Robbie in 5th, Rage 6th, Dixie 7th, Extremist 8th, Neil 9th, and Cody in 10th at the moment. Let's see how qualifying 3 goes with the top 10 and what the starting order is going to be able to get through that session. Okay, so into qualifying 3, of course, we're going to be putting on our lap data. We know everyone's going to be running on the soft tires. We're not going to keep that on. Oh, sorry, no, we might have a bit of an interesting situation happening here. So we got some drizzle, as we said. It was getting pretty dark down in the end of qualifying 2. Did expect we might see some rain, as everyone's going to be getting out on track as fast as they can here on the soft tires to try and get a fast lap in. Because if you do have to switch on to the inters, that's going to be a much slower lap. And of course, not the best starting position in the top 10. So let's see what's going to happen. Everyone getting out on track here at the moment. I think one of the Haas is currently out in front. That's going to be Alien there. They're going to be getting through the out lap, as though this is a qualifying lap here right about now, just to get a good lap time in. Let's see if that's going to actually work for them, because by the end of this current hot lap, they might be attempting here pretty soon. They might have to switch on to the intermediate tire. It just depends on how fast that rain is coming down here at the moment. I'm not sure if our race session will have some rain in it or not. If it does have rain, that means they will have a free choice of tires to start the race session on. Qualifying 2 set of tires that they did wouldn't matter at that point if the session is going to be a wet start. Let's see if that's going to work out at the moment. Looking to get a bit wet here in Q3. Qualifying 1 and 2 were pretty dry all the way through. Just almost down to the end of Q2, where we had a bit of rain starting to set in, but didn't actually start. I think it's right now it's where it's actually starting. So let's see. I want to see if this is going to go through all the way through the session and make them switch over to the intermediate tires, which is going to make I think the second half of this qualifying session pretty dead. Of course, only 12 minutes for Q3, so going to be getting through this pretty quickly, as we're waiting for our first driver who got out to the pits, and he invalidated the lap before getting started on the lap here, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. I think his teammate might be the next driver. Let's see if that's going to still hold as a new lap here. No, it will not hold. That's going to be an invalidated lap there. His teammate Robbie there getting started on his lap right about now. Unfortunate for the Haas driver there, just in case they do have to do a switch onto the intermediate tires to get their second hot lap going here. We'll see what the case is going to be. He possibly have to just try it on that same set of tires if he needs to. Let's see what the case will be. Most of our drivers getting on their hot laps right now. Albo's still in the pits at the moment. Neil's still on an out lap as they're getting through. So waiting to see what our lap times are going to look like through this qualifying session here. Going to be a bit interesting with this, especially the rain setting in. So we got Robbie getting through sector 2 right about now. Got quite a few cars coming behind of him as well. So gonna be a bit interesting to see where they all get across. Because I think Dixie, Hotel Dixie might just be behind of him. Behind a lot of things. Extreme is coming, and I'm not sure who's after that, but we'll see what the order is gonna be as they all get across the line and get a lap time sitting just behind the house of Robbie here. Of course, his teammate, a bit of an unfortunate run there on that opening lap. Let's see if it's still drizzling. It is still drizzling here. Doesn't seem to be coming down too fast at the moment, but I'm not sure where the grip level is out there on track going to be. So we'll see what happens in that case. Let's just have a look, see what the lap times are going to start to look like here. We did know there's a pretty good laps on the first 2 qualifying session. We got 129.4 from Robbie so far. Let's see where the rest of the drivers go. 130.5 there from Dixie Extreme. Goes 130.2 at the moment. Looks like Cody goes 130.7, Mr. Rage 129.1, Mikey 130.2, I think it is, Glock 128.9. Fastest lap for him so far. Where is Neil on track? Might be the final one to get a lap in. I know something that has an invalidated lap here. A bit unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. Will have to get back into the pits and get another lap going there. Looks like Albo's still in the pits. Alien back into the pits. So those three, not the best of luck at the start of the session, except for Albo. He didn't get out on the start. So I'm not sure if he's going to be getting out now or not. Might just be having a look to see what the situation is currently on track here. Anyway, I think everyone's going to be getting back into the pits there right now. And just see what the rest of the qualifying session holds in terms of the weather right now, because it seems to be holding on true for them to still be running on the dry compound tires right now. So not sure if we're going to have to do a switch on over into the intermediates with this rain starting to set in, but it's not coming in as fast as we might expect. So it looks like they might just be able to hold up onto those soft tires for now. Let's see what happens though, because it's starting to drizzle maybe just a bit more. I really can't tell too much on what's going on, but the grip level on track will definitely drop as we get on through the rest of the session. I think most of our drivers will be getting back into the pits there. OTL Alien, of course, getting started on a new outlap here. And hopefully gets a better run on this. Cole had a bit of an unfortunate start on the first attempt at this. Hopefully not less grip out there, because that's going to affect his lap. Definitely getting wrong with it. So as it stands there at the moment, provisional pole goes to Glock for now, at least. Still 6.5 minutes and under remaining here in qualifying 3. Mr. 8 holds on to second, fastest lap time here, 129.1. Looking to start right there if he can. We got Robbie, of course, third on the grid, 129.4. Mikey in fourth. We got Extremist in fifth. Dixie 6th. We got Cody there in 7th. Waiting for Alien, Albo, and Neil to get a lap time in. We'll see what that's going to be like as they get through this portion of this session. Still enough time left for them to get a pretty good time in, so let's see what's going to happen in that case. So he's about to get started on his qualifying lap here right about now. Want to see how this is going to go in terms of sector times right about now, because remember, it's still getting a bit wet on track here. These dry tires might start to have some trouble in terms of grip. I think you have to hold back for a second there to see how that's going on through. Hopefully going to have a good run, and we already invalidated a lap though, so not the best start here getting through. Now looks like Glock is getting back out for a second hot lap here. See if that's going to work for him. We do have Neil in the Mercedes getting started on his next attempt at a qualifying lap. See what that's going to work out for him. We might be having some grip level problems on track here, with it starting to get just a bit wet off that minor drizzle we have going on right now. Definitely still having that drizzle on track, so there is a bit of wetness on the track, its surface itself. No standing water at the moment, so no need for the intermediates, but it might be raining just a bit more on some portions of the track over here in sector 2. Seems to be just starting to get a bit more heavy. I'm not sure, it's a bit hard to tell, but the grip level is that's going to be dependent on what the drivers are feeling out there with the cars at the moment, and in terms of how much they can push on through some of these turns. So they do have to be extremely careful about it. As you can see, the Mercedes driver using up as much of the track as he can getting through. Is trying to maximize on time here and get the best possible qualifying time in this session. We are down to just under 4 minutes now remaining. Alright, about to finish off this lap. Does make it through pretty well. Let's see where he goes at the end of this lap here now. So gets across the line. And goes 8th fastest at 131.6. Not the best lap out there, but he's going to hold off at least for now. His teammate currently fastest here on the provisional pole and still trying to get a faster lap in. Just in case. Doesn't want to take the chance at this point here with 3 minutes remaining in the session. Let's see if he's actually doing a fastest lap here or not, or just trying to get through this current lap. It looks like he invalidated whatever he was currently trying to do. That's going to be the end of that lap there for him. I see Albo getting out on the out lap right now. Alien back into the pits. Hasn't got a lap time in as yet. So just on over to Mikey in the Ferrari at the moment here. Just one Ferrari over into Q3 so far, so let's see if he's able to make a good starting position here before we get off to the end of the session. Of course, guys, if you did miss the start of this is on with SLIPSTREAM Racing League's on the division. We're on the round 8 for the French Grand Prix in qualifying 3 at the moment, and our next portion of the session will be the start of the French Grand Prix. Let's see what that's going to get us started through. Hopefully, I'm not sure. Will we be getting a safety car or VSC on that opening lap? It's not overly a long run getting down into turn 1, but it's a bit of a tricky braking zone getting through turns 1, 2, and 3. So they're going to have to avoid going wide on the opening lap and try to avoid contact with each other as well. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. There might be an interesting situation with that. We do have Mikey about to get started on his lap here right about now, I believe. So let's have a look at that. So on board with the Ferrari right about now as he gets down the start-finish straight here, down in the turn, as you can see, not an overly long run, getting down into that left-hander and then swinging back into a right-hander, getting it wrong. So always a bit tricky. They have to avoid going too much wide on that opening lap, as I said. And it's going to be extremely a bit tricky getting into that. I just want to see how many drivers are going to try to force their way through on those turns at the same time. Just depends on who has a better straight line speed going down there. We'll also be on our zone during the race session, so we'll see what happens with that and how much drivers get an advantage out of it there. Still on with Mikey on this current lap. We're trying to have a look if the session is over, or if we're just waiting for just a few more minutes here. I think we got Alien and Albo currently on laps. Let's have a look, see how that's going for the two. Then looks like Albo invalidated whatever lap he was running. The house driver Alien here stayed on a lap getting through sector 2 now. Did not get a proper sector 1. We're down to just 45 seconds remaining here in qualifying 3. Getting so close down to the start of this race session. Hopefully we're going to have a pretty good start. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. Okay, so that marks the end of qualifying 3 at this point here, right about now. Just a few drivers currently running on track. I think just one driver running on track, and that's Alien here. He just finished off his lap. Let's see if he did get a better lap in as we have a look at the qualifying 3 results before heading over into the race session itself. So it looks like it is going to be Glock on provisional pole here for the start of the French Grand Prix. Got Mr. Rage lining up just alongside him in a Red Bull for that. That's going to be an interesting run down into turn 1. Robbie there currently 3rd on the grid for the start of the race. Mikey will start 4th. Extremist will start 5th. Looks like Dixie will start 6th. Cody in 7th. Alien currently in 8th. Didn't get a fast time. Neil in 9th. And Albo there currently will start 10th with the Williams. So going to be an interesting run down into turn 1. We'll see how that works out. If you're going to have a yellow flag safety car or possibly maybe a VSC, we'll see what the situation will be. Possibly just a clean lap through on the opening lap. We might have maybe something happen down a bit further on in the first opening few laps of the race itself. We'll see what's going to happen. We got a grid of 20 drivers to start out the race with, so always interesting to have that happen. So we're going to have some battles going into the first sector of the track. Let's see how clean they can keep it as we get on through that. Again, we're going to be setting up their car setups, fuel and whatnot before getting started on the formation lap. So I think we're just waiting for that right about now. Okay, so getting started on the formation lap. Let's get a few of our stats up on screen. We're going to keep lap data on. Let's put on tires for now and have a look at the qualifying tires that these guys did go through qualifying with. And we got all 20 drivers on the grid at the moment, getting through the formation lap here at the public car circuit for the start of the French Grand Prix. Round 8 here for Slipstream Racing League on Sunday Division. So Glock starting P1 on the grid. We got Mr. Rate starting 2nd just alongside him. And we got Robbie there starting 3rd. Mikey starts 4th. Extremist will be starting 5th. We got OTL Dixie starting 6th. Cody in 7th. OTL Alien starts 8th. We got Neil in 9th. We got Albo in 10th. Nick unfortunately starting down 11th. Beefy in 12th. We got DXC Maddie starts 13th. Red Devil in 14th. Chris in 15th. Stubby 16th. Vintage will start 17th. Walker starts 18th. And Scooby will start 19th. Draft there. And Williams has to start 20th on grid. Fortunately with the situation in qualifying. So got a mix of strategies as well going on. Looks like the top 3 are starting on the mediums. Mikey and 4th will start on the softs. We had Extremists on the mediums. Dixie and Cody both on the softs for 6th and 7th. Alien and 8th starting on the mediums. 9th in 10th, we got Neil and Albo both starting on the softs here as well. Down on the back of the grid, we got a mix between hards and mediums for the start of this race. So going to be quite interesting to see what happens on that opening lap. We do have a few drivers on the soft tires. They're going to try to get a bit of a better run down into turn 1 through the first sector and through the opening lap, and possibly trying to gain as much positions as they can. Top 3, of course, are going to have to hold it out in front as much as they can. They're going to be chasing after each other. The Glock going to be under a lot of pressure with the 2 cars behind of him to see how that works out. The Red Bull of Mr. Rage and the House of Robbie, they are going to be very fast keeping up with him as well, so they might try to get away with the lead on that opening lap. So it's going to be a bit interesting to see how this works on out. We might be looking at a possible clean lap getting on through the opening lap, or possibly we might have a bit of a situation happening in terms of a safety car, VSC, or yellow, just a yellow flag. We'll see what's going to happen. Might just be yellow flag with a few minor incidents getting on through that opening lap. Usually is the case here with Slipstream Racing, but we'll see what's going to happen as we get on through that. We're going to leave this on position changes for you guys to have a look at that as we get started with the race. So we got Glock on the left hand side, the Red Bull of Mr. Rage on the right hand side. Let's see what's going to happen between these two. Who gets a better start or better run down into turn 1 here? I want to see who gets off the line first, as the lights do start to go off right about now, and hopefully no one jumps it. But looks like the Mercedes gets a split second better of a start as it gets down now into turn 1. We're going to switch this on over. We got cars all over the track at the moment trying to fight for positions as they get on through that opening lap. Let's see, we might have some minor contact on through sector 1. So far we do have some McLarens going wide there as well down in the back of the grid. We have an Alpine losing a position there, I think, and a few other position changes happening as you get on through. It's mostly down from the midfield going down to the back of the grid. Looks like we got Williams and an Alpine here fighting for position. That might be that's Dixie and Albo. They're fighting for 8th position in the race so far. Out in front, looks like the top 5 actually are right where they started the race. We're still on with Albo and Dixie fighting for that position, as Williams of Albo now pull alongside him, gets up ahead into P8, and I think he's going to hold it on through, at least for now, getting through the opening lap. As we said, usually a clean starting lap here with Slipstream Racing, and it has been once again for the start of the French Grand Prix. Let's take tires off. We're loading that on at this point here right about now, so we fight just keep on through with these guys getting through this lap here. Cody here in the Aston Martin keeping up with OTL Alien in front of him. Let's see how well that's working out. We got Extremist and Mikey in front. Pretty close gap between them as well, fighting on for positions here. I'm trying to have a look further out in front of you to see what's happening here. So far so good on that opening lap as they get on through. Glocker of course still leading this race by about 6/10 against the Red Bull of Mr. Rage, who's trying to keep up. Has some trouble with the Haas behind of him. A closer gap is what he currently has, so does have to be extremely careful. As you can see up and down the order, it's all within a 5/10 gap between most of the cars that we currently have here. So let's see how they get on through. We're currently into the second lap of this race. It's a 27 lap race. We might be looking at an interesting pit stop strategy for most of these drivers here, especially those on the mediums. Those on the softs, of course, we might be looking at doing a 2-stop strategy, or a bit of an aggressive strategy from soft to hards if they want to try to push for that 1-stop. But just depends. They might be looking at possibly getting a stop done under a safety car if that situation does come up at this point here. On with Albo here in P8 at the moment. Dixie behind of him by about 7/10. He is just behind Cody though by about a 10th, and trying to get alongside him. Gets past him down that straight, and looks like it's going to try and get ahead already, and does get a position up. He's now over to 7, gained 2 positions I think of the start of this race against Dixie and now against Cody here. So pretty good run with him so far, getting up the order here. So it does look like it might just be a 2-stop strategy for those on the soft. Of course, those on the mediums we're not entirely sure about here. We'll see what the case is going to be with that. Cody keeping up here with Albo though. Might be looking at getting back that position. We're on with OTL Alien here, trying to get alongside that Alfa Romeo, and he might just be forcing through to get that position up. Does look like he's going to get it wrong the outside though. Has to fight the long way around. And let's see if he's able to keep that as they get through sector 3. Has a bit of an advantage in the inside of the next turn. Of course, the Alfa Romeo of Extremist fighting it back right about now. 2/10 behind as they go down the start finish straight into lap 3. Fastest lap once again goes to the Mercedes of Glock out in front. He's going to continue to lead as these two are still fighting for a position here as Extremist tries to push it around the outside and take it back, but still has not gotten back to position as yet. A 3:10 gap between them as Extremist continues to chase, and I think it's going to be staying like that first for a bit. Looks like Stu and Quist I think switch positions down at the back. I think that's for 16th at least. So that's one Red Bull trying to gain some positions down at the back of the track there. Mr. H out in front, training as much as he can here. Let's see what happens as they get on through the rest of this session. Out in front, still a pretty close gap between Mr. Rage and Glock, of course, for the lead of the race. And we do have Robbie still just about 4/10 behind, so he is keeping up as much as he can here. And good evening to Serious Mushroom joining on to the session here. Good to have him on as well, just noticed that. So let's see what's going to happen. Some pretty close gaps as we get on through with this, and we can see OTL Dixie, they're getting very close behind Walker. Now this is going to be some trouble for him, of course, because he has Cody in front of him, so he's trying to get by the Aston Martin in front, and now has an Alpine to deal with behind of him. Of course, the McLaren of Nick coming behind here as well as Beefy just behind of that. Really not too far off. Most of our gaps are still under a second, most of them even under 5/10 right about now still as we get on through with this race here. Let's see how this works on out, because Nick has caught up to Dixie now, and there goes Walker getting ahead of the Aston Martin, still side by side with him as he gets on through on to the next lap here into lap 4. And looks like he does get the position up though, so he's up into P8, Cody down to 9th right now. And let's see if he's able to keep up with Walker as they get on through the next lap, but it doesn't look like he might be able to keep that gap, but what it is. Beefy has lost a position to Maddie down in the back. He's lost 2 positions actually. Might have had a spin. Let's have a quick look at what's happening down in the back there. And he's still going. Might have just had a bit of a mishap. Doesn't look like he took any damage on that car there. He's Steven gaining ground out in front. Look, and let's see what's happening with the rest of the order here. There's some pretty close gaps as we get on through the rest of the session. think Dixie still has a pretty close gap to the car in front of him. Trying to get alongside Cody. Might have to just hold his back for now. And look for a better spot on track to get an overtake done with. Extremist and Alba both with penalties right about now as the Alpine gets a climb up into P8. We got the McLaren of Nick, of course, trying to fight on through for this position as well. So he gets by Cody in the Aston Martin. He's up into 9th and trying to keep that position as much as he can here. I think he's using the slipstream of the Alpine just to try and get around, and he actually did work because he's now up into a 9th position, going to hold that through and follow on with OTL Dixie getting through the position 1.6 seconds behind Walker, so a bit of a time for them to actually catch up and see how that works out. Out in front, still just about half a second between the top 3 at the moment there, and looking pretty good with that. We got another penalty down with Chris at the back there. Cody into the pits right now, and he's going to get rid of those soft tires there, possibly get to a set of mediums to see what's going to happen. Back out in front, let's see what's going on with the top 3 at the moment. Alright, so still got a pretty close gaps with the top 3 as we have it. 6-10 between Glock and Mr. and that's for the lead, of course. So let's see how much longer they're able to carry that through. Looks like Walker is getting a pretty good run here against Albo, who currently in 6th. He's trying to get past the oh, we got a bit of a spin happening there with the Williams of Albo there. I think he had contact with the car in front of him possibly. I think that was Extremist in front, so I'm not sure who's at fault with that, but he might have had some contact there. And he's all the way down into 9th right now with a penalty as well, so he did have a penalty. Maybe it was his fault, I'm not sure. That will depend on the stewards to look into that after the race session is over. We'll see what's going to happen. The Walker is up into 6th either way. He's chasing after Extremist now. About 7/10 is where the gap is. And let's see if he's able to keep that going on through. Looks like Draft, who started all the way down at the back of the grid. He started 20th. He's all the way up into P10 right now, trying to get into the points as much as he can. And he's running just behind him, and they're 2/10s behind. And might be looking to gain a position on the run down into the next lap. He pulls on to the outside. And looks like he's going to get a better run down into turn 1. Will get that position up against the McLaren driver. He's up into 9th. Puts McLaren down into 10th. And let's see if he continues on through. He's going to chase after Dixie there now, about 1.7 seconds ahead of him. So that's going to get a few more pit stops happening with those drivers on the soft tires. Possibly they're getting onto some mediums now, I think might be. We'll switch on tires and just to see what's happening with that. Of course, out in front, we know our top 3 at least are running on the mediums, I think it is. So let's have a look at tires as what it is there right about now. So let's see what the tire situation is at the moment. Of mediums for the top 7 so far as they're running. So they're going to be running a bit of a longer stint into this race before doing a pit stop. We got a few drivers currently on the hards that it started on. And we got a virtual safety car right now. Something's happened on track. Trying to figure out where that's happened. It looks like it's happened down in the back there with Red Devil, if we can have a quick look on board here. It looks like he's already disappeared from track, so his car has already been taking off, so that has now become a full safety car. And whoever still is running on the soft tires will have a bit of an advantage here. Looks like Clark has stayed out on track. He's not going to do a pit stop. The rest of the drivers behind of him on the mediums have done a stop here under the safety car though. This is going to be an interesting run. I'm not sure. Did Glock make a mistake here of not doing a pit stop under the safety car? Because everyone behind of him is currently doing that. Except for Extremist and Nick though, they have not done a stop as well. So I'm not sure what the strategy run here is with them. Of course, Draft, DXT Maddie and Beefy there on the hard tires are not going to do a stop as well. They're going to continue on out. So top 6 right about now. No pit stops for them. Scooby there. 6 laps on those mediums has not done a stop either. This will run a bit interesting. Let's see how this works out, because Robbie now currently was running 2nd. Or 3rd was it? I think no, he was running 3rd. Has done a stop. He's down into 7th after his pit stop. Mr. H all the way down to 11th. I want to see how this works out with the grid order, how it's going to be sorted after this is over with. Extreme is, of course, with a penalty here to deal with, of course. Let's see what that penalty is as we get on through. This is a 3-second penalty for everyone who currently has a penalty, so at least we know that's what's going on with that so far. I'm trying to have a look. Our gaps are going to start to close off just a bit as we get on through with the race under the safety car still. And the grid order as it is right now, I think our pit stops might be overweight right about now. But Glock still leading the race. Extremist is now up into second. Looks like Nick now running to third. Let's have a look at position changes to make it a bit more interesting here. See what happened at the start of this. Draft, of course, up into P4. He started 20th on the grid, gained 16 positions so far. DXC Manager up into P5. We got Beefy up into 6th. Robbie running down in 7th after his pit stop. We got Scooby gained 11 positions. He's up into 8th. Walker's gained 9 so far. He's running in 9th. Alien running in 10th. We got Mr. H down to 11th on the grid. We got Cody down to 12th. We got Dixie down to 13. Mikey down to 14. Vintage up to 15. Stubby currently right there in 16th where he started. Neil down to 17th. Albo down to 18. Chris down to 19th. And Red Devil unfortunately out of the French Grand Prix after whatever happened to his car there. Not sure if he had contact with someone or not. We have some more pit stops still happening here under the safety car. We might be looking potentially getting back racing at the end of this lap, or maybe the end of the next lap. We'll see what that case is going to be. But at this point here, we're still getting on through with this. Let's leave tires on for now and have a look and see where we're going to be at the end of this race. See what's going to happen with that in terms of race strategy here. Good, looking a bit interesting with the top 6 so far. Haven't done a stop. Rest of the grid, I think everyone else has done at least one pit stop so far in the race. But let's see how they carry on through with the rest of the race. So far looking pretty good, but I'm trying to have a look. What's going to be the situation with the top 3 running on the mediums? The next 3 behind of that running on the hards. They're going to have to run their longer stint in terms of before they do their pit stop at this point. So what are you going to choose to go on to the end of the race? I'm not sure. Are those 3 on the hards going to be choosing the mediums to go down to the end? Or they're going to push it as much as they can, then use the softs at the end of the race to try and gain back as much ground as they can? We'll see what's going to happen. They might be hoping for a second safety car a bit later on in the race. Maybe somewhere around lap 18 or 15. We'll see what the case is going to be, but I think they're possibly hoping for that to happen, for them to save some time under another safety car for a pit stop here. But so far so good as it is. Has been quite an interesting session so far here with Slipstream Racing Sunday Division. Qualifying went pretty well from Q1, Q2 to Q3 with the lap times. Already ring setting in through qualifying 3 as well. We didn't have to go to the intermediate times, which was a lot of fun to still watch these guys try to get a lap in, and everyone did get out pretty quickly at the start of Q3 just to get the fastest time in, just in case they had to do a switch onto the intermediate. But worked out pretty well so far in the race. A pretty clean start going all the way through. Just some minor contact I think through the race so far, with except with Red Devil there having a DNF there on about 2 laps ago, so not too bad with that. Just 1 driver out. We still got 19 drivers to complete the French Grand Prix here at the Paul Ricard circuit, so looking forward to see what that's going to be like as we get on through with this. And are we getting back racing here? So it looks like we are getting back racing. I think we are. Got a safety car is back in as they get across the line. And we are back racing. Let's see how it goes into turn 1. And looks like Glock gets a pretty good run to get away from the rest of the drivers as they get on through. Trying to have a look at the rest of the grid as they get through the opening restart of this lap. It looks like Beefy gets a position up here. He's up into P5, still fighting for that position there with the McLaren behind of him. Let's see what's going to happen. We got the Haas of Robbie coming, Walker coming in the midst of this as well, and the second Haas driver there, OTL Alien, in the middle of all of this going on through. A bit of contact between, I think, between Walker and Robbie there just behind, and let's see how that's going to work out. Hopefully no wing damage off of Walker's car. I'm not sure how that went for him. We do have 2 drivers going side by side into the next turn. That's a McLaren of Matt here. And looks like Dixie is out of the race. Something's happened to his car. He's out down at the back of the grid there. And I'm not sure if that's going to be another safety car or just a VSC. Hopefully it can clear it off the track before we get back around to that portion of it. Let's see what's going to happen. For the moment, it's still just a yellow flag there in sector 2. I might say that way. Not sure if that's going to become anything else. Let's see what's going to happen though. So far, Walker is up into 7th. He's trying to hold on to that position as much as he can. See what's happening. Beefy out in front, chasing after Robbie here for P5 and having a pretty good run at him. Gap is just about 210, so let's see how that works through as they continue on here. So we got both Alpha Taurus running just behind each other there, 6th and 7th on the grid, and they might be looking at doing a switch. Or is there going to be a switch between them? Let's see if Beefy is going to allow Walker to go ahead. Seems to be a bit faster here, of course, on the faster tires as well. So he is going to go ahead on the outside down into turn 1. I think that's where they're going to let it happen, just to avoid Beefy losing any sort of time on track here as well. So Walker is now up into 6. Beefy is down to 7 because he is still on the tires that he started the race on. Walker, of course, on those fresh soft tires, using it to his advantage right now, trying to gain as much ground as he can. Dixie is definitely out of the session. That's 2 drivers out so far. 18 drivers still remain. That was just a yellow flag. We're on into lap 10, getting through this race. I'm going to continue on and see where we're going to go at the end of this. Robbie here at 10th behind Joffrey in the Williams right now. So he's going to try and go alongside that Williams driver. Possibly try to get the overtake done to get him to P4 and force his way through that. Looks like a bit of minor contact as they get on through that. But the House driver does make it up into P4. The Williams, of course, they're going to chase him back through. And let's see if he's able to get us back on board right now and see what that works out to be. Of course, we have Nick just in front of this, under a bit of pressure here right now as well, because he's about to lose that position to Robbie, trying to fight for a position on the inside, which Drops gets blocked off by. And looks like Robbie gets up in the 3rd onto a podium position. Nick goes a bit wide. He's trying to hold on to that position, trying not to lose 2 positions in 1 lap here. Of course, has a drop coming up pretty quickly behind him. So let's see if this works out to be on the overhead cam here with Nick to see if he's able to hold on to 4th position right now. Going to get a bit interesting here now because Walker is now catching up to Droft. He's about 3/10 behind. Let's see what that works out to be. Droft, of course, catching up to Nick in the McLarens. He's trying to get by 2/10 but the gap is both in front and behind of him. So still holding on to that and see what he can do. We do have Walker trying to creep out alongside him and gets by. Has that much more pace on the soft tires. And gets by without any seemingly any struggle at all. He gets up into P5, drop down to 6 now. Of course, Nick under a bit more pressure right now. He's running on 10 laps on those mediums. We get Walker coming on the soft. He's going to try to get by. Glock and Extremist out in front, still leading the race by a second between them. Walker, of course, about to get by Nick in the McLaren. He's got alongside him already. He pulls in front of him, takes back the racing line. He's up into P4. Those soft tires providing that much more advantage as they expected here. But of course, they still do have to do another pit stop as well, along with those drivers on the mediums here. So let's see what that works out to be in terms of strategy. Walker, of course, getting fastest sector 2 time as he gets through this current lap. But let's see if he holds on with that going on through. Out in front, Robbie there. He's trying to have a bit of a go with Extremist for 2nd place in the race. I think they might have almost had a bit of contact as he still tries to fight for that position there. And Walker gains a bit of time. He's now 4/10 behind the 2 of them. He's going to try to fight for bit of a higher position, trying to get onto a podium position here if he can, and started quite a way down on the grid order as well. His strategy, of course, working out for him so far. Getting into the next lap there, so we're into lap 12 right about now. Let's see how this works out. Robbie trying to get side by side with Extremist, trying to get up ahead. Extremist, of course, trying to fight the back. A bit of contact between the 2 of them getting through that lap, but looks like the Haas gets out in front. Walker gets ahead as well. Extremist lost 2 positions. We got penalties being handed out. We got some rain, I think, starting to come on down in the race session here as well. I think this is why some of these drivers might have held out on those medium tires. They're waiting for the rain to set in, so they're going to do one switch and go straight to the intermediate tires. Of course, Glock was the only driver who was able to keep his position on the mediums that he started the race on there. So he might just be in for that bit more of an advantage. Of course, Robbie here on the soft tires as well, just behind of him, and 5 laps only done on them, but he's going to have a bit of a better run, trying to catch up with him. Track temperature is going to start to drop right now. 3/10 is what the gap is between the Mercedes and the Haas driver. Let's see if that holds on true, or if he will lose the lead of this race. Alright, so still running with that close gap as it is there right now. 18 drivers still in this race session. We're just getting close enough to the halfway point of this race, and I think we got a yellow flag situation somewhere there. We're starting to have some rain starting to set in here. Glock leading, Robbie in second. We got Walker into third as we get into lap 13 here for this race. Let's call out the halfway point at this point. Robbie definitely looking to get by and get that overtake done before they have to do a pit stop and go on to intermediate tires here. And yep, we can see quite a bit of standing water starting to get on track there right about now, so it might be time pretty soon for those intermediates. They're still holding up pretty well on the soft tires right about now, so they might not be ready to do that switch as yet. We do have quite a few penalties on track here. Let's see how much longer Glock is able to hold out in front on those medium tires. He's pushing as much as he can right now, just trying to keep the lead in this race. Has led every lap of the French Grand Prix so far. And yeah, I think we definitely are starting to have some standing water here as the House of Robbie pulled alongside him but not able to get by. Still down there in second. Walker just 2/10 behind of this, so getting a bit interesting in terms of when this switch is going to happen on those intermediates. Let's see, we already got Scooby going onto the intermediate tires here right about now. I don't see DRS going offline as yet. Alright, so side by side, these two go right about now. The track is definitely getting wet right now. Glock still leading. Walker now up ahead into second. Robbie down to third. He lost the position in terms of trying to gain one here. Mr. H out of the race, unfortunately. We might see some more switches onto this intermediates in just a bit. Only one driver on it so far. Let's see if that's going to work for him there or not. And the rain definitely coming down pretty quickly here as we're starting to get into the pit lane. And we got a bit of overtaking about to happen here as well, but Glock gets into the pit lane first. Robbie gets ahead of Walker. I think he might have that might be a bit of reporting going on with that though. Let's see what's going to happen in that case here, as they're going to start to switch onto the intermediate tires as the rain starts to come on down pretty quickly here now. So halfway point of the race. First half of the race has been pretty dry. Second half of the race, it looked like it's going to be pretty wet. Getting on through with that as they all get back out on track here on the intermediate tires. And trying to have a look if Albo's doing a pit stop there as well. I think he is. I think this is going to be the entire grid going on to the intermediate tires at this point here. So let's switch off tires. We're going to put on to penalties and have a look at what that situation is currently like. Alright, so as we have it right about now, so Glock still leads this race. Robbie now running in second. Going to be a bit of a different running order now as we got some rain starting to come down onto the intermediates. We'll see who is actually able to drive on the wet track here. Of course, their setups will have to allow for that as well, because I think most of the drivers might have brought in a wet dry setup and not prepared for a wet track. So let's see how that's going to work for them. They're going to have to be very, very careful with their braking zones getting on through this. We're into lap 14 right now. We can't see what the penalty situation currently is, and it's a lot of penalties out there right now. Draft, of course, in P5, no penalties for him so far, so might be looking at gaining a position or two at the end of this race. We'll see what that situation is going to work out to be. So still on lap 14, getting through this. We're about to get into lap 15 pretty soon. 1.5 seconds is where the gap is between Glock and Robbie there. For P1, those two are having a pretty good run on it. Glock was about to lose that lead, getting a wrong before we had to do the pit stops to the intermediate. So this is why this makes a lot of sense to explain why most of the drivers held off on those mediums and hards to go all the way to this point in the race. And I think it has worked out for quite a few drivers. We just lost Scooby from the race session here, and that's going to be a full safety car for whatever has happened to this car. Highly doubt we're going to see what happened there. So full safety car in the rain here right about now for the situation there. What happened with Scooby? I think they're going to have to get his car cleared off the track. That's 4 drivers out of this race so far. We're down to 16 remaining here to finish it off. And a bit of a gap starting to form, but that's going to get a bit closed off now as we're under the safety car getting through. Highly doubt we're going to be having any pit stops at this point here, provided everyone's already on the wet tires getting on through this race. Okay, so let's see what, let's have a quick look at position changes as we're getting through. The safety car still here right about now. Highlights we're having any more pit stops happen. So, as it stands right about now, looks like the Mercedes of Glock out in front is still holding on to the lead from the start all the way to this point. Hasn't lost it for a single lap so far. Robbie gained one position off the start. He started down in third. He's currently second on the grid. Walker starting 15 positions down from him. That's what he's gained so far. Running onto a podium position to finish off this race. That's going to be a pretty good finish for him. Nick there currently gained 7 positions. He's currently 4. Drop gained 15 so far. He's up into 5th at the moment, and I think it's going to be between him and Walker in terms of getting driver of the day. We'll see what that works out to be, because remember, Walker does have penalty and Drop does not have any at this point here right now. Mikey, of course, lost 2 positions so far. Beefy there gained 5. Maddie gained 5. Neil right there, I think where he started, we got OTL Alien. He's lost 2 positions off the start. Albo has lost 1. Vintage gaining 5. Chris gained 2. Stoopy gained 2 as well. Extremist are lost 10 so far. He's all the way down to 15th, and I think he just lost another. He's down to 16th right about now. And then Extremist there, he is lost 10 positions so far from the start to this point here. So let's see what that works out. And we're gonna get back over to tires here. Leave that on for now as we get on through this portion of the race. Okay, it's back onto this here right about now, so we should be able to get back racing at the end of this current lap. This was on off for a second, and we're currently on lap 17. We're gonna get into lap 18 back for racing. That's gonna be the final 10 laps of this French Grand Prix to finish this off, and let's see how well that is gonna go. 16 drivers to complete this race, all on the intermediate tires right about now, because we are in a bit of a wet session. If it does tend to get way more heavy in terms of the rain coming down, we might have to have these drivers switch onto the full wet tires. We'll see what that situation is going to be like if that stuff does actually tend to happen, as we can see the safety car getting away right about now. 5-second penalty for severe collision. Walker there, that goes to Nick. What's happening with those two, I'm not sure. That does tend to happen. A lot more of that happening. Sometimes it's a bit of a glitch happening as well. See what's going to happen, but they will have that removed if it is a glitch. When they do report it to the stewards, they will have to have video footage, of course, of the race to provide to the race stewards in terms of getting rid of that penalty. We'll see what the situation is later on the next session, if anyone gets a ban or whatever. depending on what happens. So we're about to get started back with this race once again. Glock leading, Robbie in second, Walker in third. Top three so far as it is. Everyone running 3 laps on their intermediate tires as it is, except for Extremist. There are 2 laps on his. So let's see what happens as they are about to get across the final turn and get back going here. Of course, a lot less traction on track here with these intermediates. They're going to have to be extremely careful for them. It looks like someone trying to pull alongside there already. Dropped on Nick, I think, fighting for a position. I think that's dropped on the outside of the McLaren, trying to get it wrong. Does he get that move done, though? I don't think he does get it done. He's still down in P5. Mikey just behind of him. Then Beefy just behind of that. Let's see what's going on in the midfield. Out in front, just a bit spaced off. At least about 4 to 5 tenths. Just following on in the midfield here right about now. 2 tenths between Droft and Mikey. Beefy just another 3 tenths behind that as they continue on through this race. Chris there only 2 tenths behind Vintage as well. So something's going on down in the back of the grid. Have a look and see if that's going to be changing in the grid order or not. Beefy trying to keep a close gap there with the Ferrari in front of him. Trying to get around the outside, but still has to hold it on as it is. Let's see. I think he might be side by side with him right about now. Trying to fight for that position, gets a bit pushed off track as the McLaren of Maddie comes behind of these two, and still he's going to fight for position getting on through. He's trying to follow Beefy through, but unfortunately looks like he has to just slot in just behind the Ferrari. But Beefy is up a position, he's up into P6, following for drop towards him now. Then we got Mikey now down in P7, has to deal with Maddie who's coming behind of him. Let's see what the McLaren can do, if he's going to be able to get by on this current lap here or not. Let's switch off tires right about now, just keep penalties on since we really don't need to know what's going on with tires. Everyone's going to be on the same tires getting on through the race at the moment. On board with the McLaren here of Maddie here, see if he's able to get by the Ferrari in front of him. Of course, as you can see, they have to be extremely careful with the braking zones getting through on the remaining laps of the race here right about now. And gaps are still decently close, I would say, in terms of racing pace getting through the final portion of the race. We're into lap 19 as we get on through this. I'm currently trying to have a look where our closest gap currently is, and that is, I think, with the McLaren here and with Albo there in the Williams. Looks like Albo gets ahead and keeps P8 for now. DXT might be trying to fight back for that position if he can, having some trouble. Neil and the Mercedes just behind of this. Let's see what that works out to be. Looks like it's just a 3:10 gap right now with the Mercedes behind the McLaren here. We do have some more penalties coming around on track here with the drivers as well, so going to be a bit interesting to see how that works out at the end of the race session. So far we have only 4 drivers in total without any penalties on track here, and that's currently Cody down in 16th. We got the race leader Glock out in front, Droft in 5th, and the McLaren of Maddie here, which are following there in 9th at the moment. So they might be looking at gaining some time, except for Glock, who currently leading, has no positions left to gain at this point, but he is gaining time against Robbie in the house behind him. 1.1 seconds where the gap is. Of course, no DRS available with the track condition we currently have here, and getting on through. And get on over to Drop there in P5. Let's see how he's going, chasing after Nick in the McLaren in front of him. It looks like Neil is now up a position. He's up into 8th. Still following on the draft here. It seems to just still be a bit of light rain. We got at least 7.5 laps to go before this race comes to an end right about now. I'm trying to get on board, but see how heavy this rain is actually coming down. It has come down quite a bit more. There's a bit more standing water on track here as well. Not sure if it's reached a point where these guys need to go onto the full wet tires, but I don't think that's the situation here as yet. As you can see, there's a lot of water still on track, but I don't think it's that bad that we do need to go to the full west just as yet. Let's see if the situation does worsen before we get to lap 23 or so. We might see them try to force their way through to the end on those intermediates if they need to, but we'll see what the situation is going to be. I think they might just push it all the way to the end on the intermediate tires that they currently have on here at the moment. And looks like we have two drivers trying this on the full wets. Let's have a look down at the back of the grid with Neil and Chris right now. Want to see how those full wet tires are working for them. Of course, they only go onto the full wets when it's too much standing water on the track. And the intermediates are not able to displace that amount of water. So they're not going to have any grip with that. And let's see what's going to happen though. Our racers are still running pretty well out in front. We got Neil and Chris here both running on the full wet tires, and they seem to be having a decent amount of grip getting on through four, so it might just be within a halfway point of switching on over between the inters to the full wets. But I think we're going to keep it going at least for now. Let's see what happens out in front. We got Robbie is into the pits. Quite a few drivers into the pits right now. Clock still continuing on out in front. He might do a switch on this upcoming lap here onto those full wet tires. Let's see what the situation will be, but has to have a very fast lap getting around here just to make sure he keeps the race lead as it is getting through. Let's see if that's going to work out. So going to be a bit interesting to see what's going to happen in the rest of this session here. Robbie still running there second, Walker in third, all on the intermediate still. Mikey in fourth, Albo now in fifth. We got DXC Maddie up into sixth, Cody in seventh, all still on the intermediate tires. The rest of the grid are changing over to the full wets as it is right now. Trying to have a look, is dropped going on to a new set of intermediates though, because that seems to be the situation with him there right now. I'm trying to have a look out front to see what's on. Looks like he did go on to a set of intermediates, so dropped in the Williams did not go to the full wets. He went on to a set of intermediates. The rest of the grid has changed on to the full wet tires so far. So is it time for the full wets? Let's see. As you said, it might just be a halfway point between changing on over. So they might be able to run a lap or two more. And looks like he's coming down pretty heavy right now. Definitely looks like it's time for those full wet tires. We might see the racer here diving into the pits pretty soon on this lap. He's slowing down significantly right now, trying to make that turn and avoid going wide on track here. So I think definitely they might be switching on over to the full wets from those inters. And let's see what's going to happen. Droff might have made a bit of a mistake going on to those intermediates if the rain is indeed coming down that much more here. So let's have a look what happens, but looks like he gets around, doesn't go into the pits. He's still going to continue on those intermediates here. So race leader is continuing on. The rest of the drivers follow him on through, and I think they're going to hold on through. Are they going to hold it on through to the end of the race though? That's going to be with the question here right now. So far as it is, it's going pretty well between them. 1.7 seconds where the gap is between Glock and Robbie for P1. Both still on the intermediates as the rest of drivers going down to P7 still are. Walker still in third, Mikey in fourth, Albo fifth, Maddie sixth, and Cody still seven. Let's have a look down with Beefy there in P8 right about now. How are those full wets treating him? Because he's trying to catch up to Cody out in front. 1.6 seconds is what the gap is. I want to see if he's able to break that gap down or if he's losing time right about now. Needs to gain at least 3 to 4 tenths by the end of this lap. If he's gaining time, 1.2 seconds what it's down to. It looks like he is gaining time. If that is the situation, it might really be time for these guys to switch on to those full wet tires. But of course, they're looking at if they do a switch, it's going to cost them a few positions there, especially our race leader there. If he does do a switch at this point, it's going to cost him the race lead. So he might just hold on for the next 5.5 laps all the way to the end of the race. Let's see if that's going to be the situation or not here, because I think they might just be forced to do that stop if this rain is going to continue to get worse. And looks like Beef is about to gain a position against the Aston Martin of Cody, who's still on the intermediates. He's trying to pull alongside him, not having the best of run though, getting down to the next turn here. Let's see how that works out. And he tries to outbrake him, which actually works. He's alongside him getting through. They're still side by side going through though. So let's see if that's actually working through. And Beefy does get ahead. He has gained a position against a driver on the intermediates. He's on the wets and does work pretty well. So let's see what the rest of the drivers are going to decide to do about that there right now, because the rest of them are still running on those intermediates. They're looking at the fact that they're going to lose positions right about now if they do a switch onto those full wets. So they might try to just hold off all the way to the end of this. We're into lap 23 already, looking about 4.5 laps remaining to finish off the French Grand Prix. So a bit of an interesting and tricky situation that our top 6 drivers are currently facing. Along with Cody there in 8th and Drop there in 11th as well. They're going to have to decide whether to finish a race on these intermediates if they can't pull it on through. It just depends on what the situation with the rain is. It has gotten a lot worse, but still just between the halfway point of being on the inters and being on the full wets. And I think it's still a decision they're just wondering about at the moment, following on through, looking at each other on track to see what's happening. And most of the drivers are looking onto the race leader out in front to see if he's going to be doing a pit stop. If he does go into the pits, I think most of those guys behind him might want to think about doing a stop, or they might just end up doing a stop as well. Looks like Nick is now into 8, Alien up into 9, Cody is down to 10th place on the grid. Might have had a bit of a spin. Let's have a quick look at that there right now. And Neil currently trying to gain positions here. What's happening on track? We got a safety car happening and a bit of a good luck in terms of that safety car happening right about now. That's going to mean the race leader out in front taking a pit stop as he's about to get around to the pit entry. So I think a bit of luck here for those top 6 drivers running on the intermediate tires out front. They're going to have a bit of a chance here to do a stop and go onto the full wets if they so wish at this point. Let's see what the situation will be. They're trying to keep the result positive as getting through this current lap. Currently on lap 23. Let's see. We're following on board with Clark, who's leading this race. Is he going to go into the pits? And he is going to go in. Let's see if the rest of the drivers follow him in, and they actually do follow him in right about now. I want to see if he's going to go onto the full wets or just a new set of intermediates to finish off the final few laps of this race. I want to see what that situation is going to work out to be. So it looks like he's going on to a new set of intermediates. He's not going to take the full wets and get out on track here. And did Robbie not go into the pits? Oh no, he's into the pits as well. Let's see what our drivers on the full wets are going to decide to do. Are they going to be doing pit stops here or not? I'm not quite sure about that. But everyone who was on those intermediates out in front, they did take a stop. Looks like Maddie went on to the full wets. So everyone's making a bit of a different decision here going on through. Most of them have gone on to those back onto the new set of intermediates. Albo, of course, has not taken a pit stop though under the safety car. This might be a bit troubling for him to deal with here because everyone else has taken a stop. Glock behind him has some pretty good pace even in the rain. So he might be looking at losing that position still. Not sure how many positions he's gained so far in this session. Has been quite a few. Let's have a look. About that. Let's have a quick look and see. So he's gained 9 positions so far. He's looking at possibly just losing a position or 2 before the race comes to an end because he knows it's going to be possibly maybe just 2 laps of racing or maybe 3 laps of racing to finish off the French Grand Prix. So I think he's banking on that advantage to use to go to the end of the race here. 14 positions gained by Walker so far. He might be looking at getting driver today. Of course, we have to look at what the penalties are going to be like here, and it's quite severe for some drivers there like Chris and OTL Alien at the moment. 12 seconds each. Most of the drivers on 3 seconds. We got I think about 2 6 seconds penalties there. I'm going to keep that back on here, see what's going to happen to the end now. Okay, so assume we should be able to get back racing at the end of this current lap here. That's going to be going into lap 25. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not. We get a mix of strategies on track here. Some of these guys on the inters, some of them on the wets. We got one driver currently leading the race who, I think he's doing a pit stop now, is he? No, I think that's just a bit of a switch up in the grid order. I'm not sure what's happening up front with that. Grid order might have just changed a bit. No, it's back. It's fine again. So yeah, so Albo out in front has not done a stop. He's still running on those intermediates which he first switched on to. 11 laps done on them so far as we're still into lap 25 going. Looks like we're only gonna have lap 26 and 27 of actual racing left. Okay, it's back onto the racing. Let's do the final 2 laps and let's see who's gonna get a win for this one here. Albo continues out front. Might not be able to hold that lead though. 12 laps on those intermediates. I don't think they're gonna hold off too well. As we get on through to this, let's have a look and see if Glock is gonna be able to get by. Of course, fighting into the Robbie there for 2nd place now. Let's see if that's gonna work out for him. We do have Walker, and I think the Haas of Robbie fighting for a position. Walker looks like he's getting ahead. Still on the outside trying to get it wrong, as I think the Mercedes trying to get a wrong Albo as well. So a bit interesting on the final 2 laps. We get a bit yellow flag situation going on down at the back of the grid. I think someone's out. Actually, I think BP's having some trouble along in the back. He's down to 15th on the grid. So not the best restart after that safety car for him. Looks like Albo still holding on to the lead out in front here. Glock still in 2nd. Walker still up to 3rd though. Robbie down to 4th. Let's see how they get on through that. We got a bit of an issue with the Mercedes down there. He's down to 4th on the grid right about now, fighting through for positions here. And this is just less than 2 laps before the end of the race here. Albo holding on out in front of the leader. So let's see if he's going to be able to hold on anymore, because Walker's now about a 10th behind of him with Robbie alongside him. So 2 cars trying to fight for a position at the same time, and this might not end as well as we expect. It just depends on what's going to happen. Walker gets the wrong bit on the inside and he gets up into P1. He is now into the lead of the race. Albo down to 2nd. Robbie running in 3rd. Glock still down in 4th, and he's trying to fight back for a position. The Haas trying to fight with someone, trying to get out of the way. I think that was him with possibly a Glock there, because Albo's now down to 3rd. We got Robbie up into 2nd. Quite a bit of a change in the order as we get on through. Draft out of the race now. Chris is out of the race. We're down to 12 drivers, I think, remaining here, getting through into the final lap. We're about to go as Walker gets started on that right about now. 6 between him and Robbie for the lead, and I think he might be able to hold on through all the way to the end of this lap. Let's see how that works out for him, but a pretty good run so far. He's done. Albo down to 3rd though, has held up pretty well. 13 laps on those intermediates. Glock down in P4, 6 tenths behind. He might be trying to get another position up, has led every single lap coming onto the final safety car there after Albo took over that, and has a bit of bad luck after that getting on through. Was not able to hold off to the position and try to fight for the lead as he expected. Nick running in 5th. We got OTL Alien currently 6th, Maddie currently 7th, Neil currently 8th. Of course, penalties are going to change this up quite a bit. Let's bring penalties online, see how that's going to work out for them. Of course, Glock, no penalties, will be gaining some time here, because I think I might still even get the win just if he's lucky enough here, because Walker with a 6-second penalty, Robbie with a 6-second penalty, Albo with a 3-second penalty as it is, and the gap between him and the rest there is not that much, I'll be honest with you. So it might just be still looking, I think it's all under 3 seconds still. So I think Glock in the Mercedes still looking at a possible race win here as these guys all get through the final sector of the final lap. Walker there though might be still looking at getting driver of the day. Let's see what that's going to work out for him. Let's see who gets the fastest lap there as well in the race. I think that will be on the dry tires though from what they had. Penalties will change the order up just a bit, but let's see who gets across the line in what order, how they change that up as they get through. Looks like Walker's going to get across the line. P1, Robbie might get across 2nd. Albo might get across 3rd, but they're not going to be able to keep those positions as it's only an 8-10 gap to Glock behind of them, and still within 3 seconds I think for at least for 2nd and 3rd. So he's still looking at a podium position here potentially. So Walker gets across P1, Robbie 2nd, Albo currently 3rd. Let's see how that changes up. Glock takes over and takes the win for the French Grand Prix against them just because of the penalty situation. Walker's down to 2nd, Albo down to 3rd, Robbie takes 4th right about now. Nick finishes 5th. We got Maddie taking 6th. Both McLaren's 5th and 6th, not too bad. Vintage takes 7 because of penalties with OTL Alien, who goes down to 8th. We got Stubi finishing in 9th and Cody finishing in 10th, and only 10 of our 20 drivers were able to finish. I think majority of the drivers were out into that final portion of the race there just because of the rain and the safety car and whatnot. Walker gets driver of the day, gets across the line. P1 doesn't get a key P1, gets 2nd on the podium, but still gets driver of the day. Not a bad finish. Let's see who did get away with fastest lap on this one here. So once again, more points for Mercedes to extend their lead, and we'll see how that works out as we get into the next session. So looks like Glock takes the win here for the French Grand Prix. Walker, of course, a bit of a better finish, gets driver of the day, finishes 2nd place on the podium, and gets fastest lap in the race as well. Albo takes 3rd place on the podium. His strategy was not a bad one. Did work out pretty well for him to still finish with some decent points there for the team. Robbie finished 4th on the grid. We got Nick finishing in 5th. DXC Maddie takes 6th. The both McLaren's 5th and 6th. Some decent points there for them. Ferrari Vintage in 7th. OTL Alien. Significant points. Penalties are dropped him down to 8, losing a lot of points there. Stubby finishes in 9th, Cody there in 10th. I think it was just our top 10 that actually finished the race, so we'll keep it on with that. So not a bad finish at all getting through that session. And I think that's going to be it this evening for the session there, guys. Thanks to everyone who joined on to the live stream to watch the race there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, enjoyed the commentary. Please, guys, do leave a like on the stream and make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and do follow us on Twitch. I'll see you guys on the next stream.